Hello, John Talley here with Partzilla.com. Today we're going to take a few minutes and discuss the different batteries that are typically found in most of your powersports units, as well as the different chargers that we're going to use to keep them up and ready to go. The battery in the simplest form can be represented by this little unit on the end. This is what they call a lead acid type battery, and you'll notice that this one is completely empty and it actually has a vent tube on the side. This is one of the earlier designs and it's still used in a lot of different machines. Basically at the dealership they will fill each cell with electrolyte, which happens to be a sulfuric acid for this type battery. And you bring it up in between these two lines. At that point they put it under charge. A unit like this, it can withstand a fair amount of charge amperage going into it. It's a really solid battery, but not one that can stand a lot of vibration and or changes in tilt, so to speak. So something like this would have a difficult time surviving on, let's say, a sport bike. You're going to find this on a lot of utility type machines. It's going to be in an environment where the machine is more or less stable, not a high performance, not where space is going to be a concern. And if any of the cells get low, then you can add distilled water to bring it up to the proper level. Another characteristic for a conventional battery is it's fairly easy to charge and it's not really picky about the voltage that comes in. It can withstand higher voltage than these other types of sealed batteries. Now the one you're going to find in the majority of vehicles out there is what they call an AGM battery, an absorbent glass mat type system. Now there's a couple of different types. One that you actually have to activate yourself with a container of electrolyte. Now the third type is actually still an AGM type battery, except it is completely sealed from the factory. Now where you're going to find this battery is in a race type environment. So that's where space is at a premium, where you're going to have extreme loads and vibrations and different angles that this thing is going to have to perform at. Now there are a few different variations on these batteries, but for the most part it's very close to one of these three types. So once again, it's conventional, the AGM where you activate it, and then an AGM that is factory activated. Now the question is, what do we use to charge these and how long should we charge them? Well, let's go back to our conventional type battery. To keep things in a safe area, the rule of thumb is you want your charge amperage rate to be 10% of what the amp hour rating is. So in this case, it's 14 amp hours, 10% of that, 1.4 amps. So that's what you'd want to charge it at. Now as far as the charger, this one does not require that you use what they call a smart charger. So you could actually use what they call a direct current charger or a constant current charger like this old unit down at the end of my bench. But be careful with that. This is not going to know when the battery is charged. It is going to send that constant current for as long as you leave it plugged in. Even on the lowest amperage setting, which is 2 amps, it's going to eventually destroy this battery. Worst case, you plugged it in and put it at the 50 amp start, it'd probably burn it up in less than 20 minutes. And I can only recommend using this type of charger if it's the only thing that you've got available to you and you have to get that battery charged to get out on the trail. Now conversely, with the AGM type batteries, both of them, they are very particular about their charging. One, they don't want to lose their charge, and if they do, they'll sulfate. Second, if you charge them above 14.1, 14.4, somewhere in there, you're going to destroy them. They want to see a low and slow charge current, and it actually has to taper off as it finishes the charge. So what type of charger do you want to use? Well, the opposite of a dumb charger is a smart charger, and there's a lot of them out there that can get this accomplished. Once again, you don't need a huge charger that can deliver 10 amps because that's not what you want to do with an AGM type battery. Take this YTZ10 as an example. Well, it's 10 amp hours, 1 amp per hour. Pretty simple math here, so that would need to charge for 10 hours. Pretty simple. Same equation for the YTX14, 1 amp per hour. We're wanting to get to 14 amp hours. Going to be 14 hours, isn't it? Pretty simple to do when you think about it in terms of 1 amps per hour. Now, can you push these other batteries to 2, 3, maybe even 4 amps? Yes. But if you've got the time, let it take the time so it can get a full charge that first time you activate the battery. It'll last a lot longer if you start off with a low current charge on the initial charge. Now the factory activated one, there's only one check that you need to make. This one should be good to go. They have a long shelf life. What you're looking for here is about 12.4 volts, 12.42. This one is going to be good to go just like it is. It doesn't need to have a top-off charge. This particular charger right here, it'll actually do what they call a quick charge, and then it's got the standard charge. The standard charge is 1 amp per hour. With the quick charge, it can ramp it up to 4, and that's helpful if you're working with some larger batteries. Now, if you're only working with smaller powersports batteries, this is a much better option. This one charges at 1.25 amps, and that's a good middle ground to get an effective charge going into your battery. This one down on the end, well, let me show you what that reminds me of. The one on the end is a breaker bar. Smart charger is a digital torque wrench. Now both of these accomplish the same task. They tighten a nut or a bolt, but they do it in two very different ways. This is more like the caveman approach. This is the new wave digital age approach where you're going to get an exact readout. Well, that's what you're looking at when comparing an old type direct current, constant current battery charger versus a smart one. World of difference. They accomplish the same thing, but this one does it in a much better, safer, required fashion where you're dealing with an AGM. Now you don't have to have a calculator in your back pocket to figure out how long and what amperage you should charge your battery at. Especially with the UASA, they've already got it printed directly to their batteries, the best amperage and the best length of time to actually charge them at. So let's take a little closer look at the YTZ. What does it say right here? 0.9 amps at 5 to 10 hours. If you're going for a quick, 4.5 times 1 hour. Looking at the YTX14, it's printed right along the top. Standard charge rate of 1.4 amps at 5 to 10 hours, or quick at 6 amps for 1 hour. Well, listen, if you need a charger for your machine, why don't you check that link in the description below, and it's going to carry you to a cart that has the different chargers that I've shown you here today. Well, all right, guys, if you need batteries or chargers for your machine or any other parts for that matter, why don't you come see us at Partzilla.com and we can get you taken care of. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the section below and I'll do my best to answer them. We just want to say thank you for shopping here with us at Partzilla, and we will see you in the next video. Have a great day.